All right, guys, we are here at Harley Davidson of Danbury, Connecticut. Just because it's winter and ice is on the ground doesn't mean the show must not go on. Let's look at some new Harleys.
Welcome to Harley Davidson of Danbury. My name is Al Lucchino. I'm the owner of the dealership. Harley Davidson of Danbury is a 30-year-old family business, and I want to introduce and do a little compare and contrast on the 2025 Lowrider Sport versus the 2024 Lowrider Sport. Let's start with this Vivid Black 2025 Lowrider Sport, Brian. There's a lot of details and a lot of improvements, and it really adds up for 2025. But the big change for 2025 is the 114 horsepower Milwaukee 8 engine. Revised cylinder heads, 10.3 to 1 compression ratio, more tumble, more burn, more squish. We're squeezing more horsepower. We've got revised oil cooling for the cylinder heads to shed more heat through the oil cooler mounted right in the front. So 114 horsepower between 124, 128 foot-pounds of torque. This motor goes, and Harley wants to make it run real strong, real hard, real fast right out of the gate, Brian. The 2-in-1 exhaust enhances the performance. 2-in-1 is always a performance enhancement. We get better scavenging of the exhaust ports with the 2-in-1, less restriction. So again, it all adds up to an improved, faster performing engine. But now let's talk a little bit about some of the electronic enhancements. We have a whole new electronic suite for the Softails for 2025. So we've got ride modes, we've got rain, road, and sport mode, all at the touch of a hand control button right here on the right hand control, Brian. In addition to that, the safety enhancements, we not only have anti-lock brakes and traction control with the slipper clutch to make smooth downshifts, but we've got cornering enhanced ABS and cornering enhanced traction control, and of course the slipper clutch also has cornering electronic enhancements and software. What do we get? More safety, more fun, safer riding, more performance. It's incredible what Harley Davidson has done. Now these bikes, both of them, the 24 and the 25, have cruise control. If you notice the graphics, let's talk about some of the appearance changes. We've got some chrome highlights that we didn't have last year on the motor, like the lower rocker boxes, the red trim on the air cleaner on the engine, all new. If you notice, timer cover is different, and while the bike doesn't specifically have variable valve timing, this is the same nose cone that we use on some of the touring bikes that on the CVOs that are carrying variable valve timing. Maybe that's coming down the road. If we look at the 2024, and this is a brand new 2024 that we have here for you at Harley Davidson of Danbury, this is a beautiful red rock color, little different graphics, bronze wheels, and you can see we don't have some of the cosmetic enhancements.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about the exhaust.
Brian, on the 2024, we've got a 2-in-2 exhaust with a crossover, but for 2025 over here on the Lowrider S, Harley Davidson went to a dedicated 2-in-1 exhaust. 2-in-1 exhaust traditionally provides the best scavenging, and what I mean by scavenging is it's most efficient at pulling the burnt charge out of the cylinder head so we don't get cross-charge contamination. The fresh intake charge is not cross-contaminated with the outgoing exhaust charge. We get more horsepower, better, cleaner, smoother running. The 2-in-1 does it better because the collector sends a signal up to the exhaust port. We pull the burnt charge out more efficiently, and the 2-in-1 is less restrictive than a 2-in-2 exhaust and scavenges better, so we've got less restriction, better scavenging, and that helps us get to 114 horsepower on a completely stock street legal motorcycle, which is awesome. That's a lot of horsepower. That coupled with the 124 to 128 foot-pounds of torque. This bike, whatever gear you're in, whenever you roll the throttle on, this bike is going to accelerate and flatten your eyeballs. Right behind us is Harley Davidson of Danbury's Dyno Jet 250i dynamometer, so we can improve, tune, and enhance the performance at our dealership. We've got Screaming Eagle Stage 4 kits and Screaming Eagle 135 crate motors. We can make these horsepower monsters. 140, 145 plus horsepower is within reach. All reliable, all streetable, but at Harley Davidson of Danbury. Now, let's just talk a little bit more about this 2025, Brian, because this is our focus today. Harley Davidson also recalibrated the suspension. So up in the front, we've got the inverted fork, which is great for precise steering inputs when you're cornering, and it's been recalibrated. The shock's been recalibrated. When you take the seat off, you can adjust the rear shock. What does the recalibration of the suspension mean? It means that when you hit a dip or you hit an expansion joint or a bump, that the suspension is more responsive and it's more balanced front to rear. So what we get is a smoother, more controlled ride with less dive on braking. Real world performance enhancement, and it works. Brian, one of the other safety enhancements that we've got for 2025 is we've got enhanced lighting. So we've got LED lighting, LED turn signals, LED headlight. I'm going to turn them on. You're going to get to see them. The turn signals are LED. You can see the brightness and the enhanced safety. And if we look at the back, we've got an LED tail light, again with enhanced safety. You can see how bright that new LED tail light is. When we got the turn signals, you can see nice, easy to see visibility and colors on all of these. Let's get that for you. And you can see great visibility in traffic. Again, a safety enhancement. So looking at the LEDs, they're not only an enhancement, Brian, but Harley has integrated them into the taillight housing, so we've got a cleaner, smoother look. They're no longer bolted to the rear fender support bracket. They're cleanly integrated into the taillight. If you look at the 24, we bolt them with what we call a little bat wing right onto the rear fender strut. But again, a great setup, either motorcycle, whichever taste you prefer. We've got this 24 available. I also wanted to point out the 24 has the staggered dual high-low exhaust. A lot of guys change the exhaust, but these are the factory standard systems, and they're good and they work, but we can enhance them and we can upgrade them for you. And you can see the wheels are black cast instead of bronze. We've got high-quality brakes all around, 4-piston calipers, dual discs. This is a really good high-performance motorcycle. Brian, these are hot motorcycles. Come to our dealership, let's test ride them. And Brian, we're gonna get you out riding one of these soon for your viewers on your channel.
Can you do a little startup for us in a little rev?
We can do that. Okay, Brian, we're gonna start this motorcycle for you. No gas valve, no choke, no hiccup, no coughing, no sputtering. You hit the start button, she powers right up, and you just hit the start button here on the right-hand control. Very healthy exhaust note. The bike sounds good, and it doesn't require earplugs, although I guarantee you aftermarket exhaust options will be available.
So, like Al said, we're going to take this out for a test ride, and I'm going to give you all of the differences, because there's quite a substantial number of differences between the 2024 and the 2025, so stay tuned for that soon.
You bet. Thank you, Brian. Come ride at Harley Davidson of Danbury.